Hello, my name is Joseph Carlson, and this is episode 152 of Gaming with Grief, and I'm calling this episode Elden Ring Discussion Part 2, but I want to remind you guys that this podcast will hit my website, www.gamingwithgrief.com, Monday morning at 7 a.m. Please go there, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the show, or, if you have a question to ask me, you can do it there. Or you can go to gwgpodfellows@gmail.com. Drop me a line there. Let me know what you think of the show. Review something. Maybe you have a suggestion for a game you want me to play. That'd be great. Or you could subscribe to the podcast on either Apple iTunes, the Google Play Store, or Spotify. Please go there. Let me know what you think of the show. If you can. I don't know if you can actually write reviews on Spotify. That's something I got to look into. Or you can go to Twitter and interact with me. I'm at JustLittleJoe, and I will try to get better again about promoting the podcast, but I'm terrible at that. Anyway, this is just another discussion I had with two more friends, Jesse and Wes. They have both played the game quite a bit. I think Wes mentions it's about 400 hours. I think Jesse was in the 200s or at least 100 hours. I mean, they played it for a long time. They think this is, amazing. And I just wanted to talk to more people about the game because I've still been fascinated by the amount of people that are playing the game kind of outside the circle of normal people in my life that would be playing a From Software game. So enjoy. Yeah, so I forgot to ask you, have you played other From Software games before?
I've played, something that's too loud. I've played Souls 3.
Oh, Dark Souls 3?
For a couple of days. I just tried it out.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, this is a whole thing. And I just didn't, I forgot why. I think it was just something I was doing for just that moment. I didn't buy it. I think it was maybe a trial or something.
So you said you played Dark Souls 3 for a week and that's it?
Yep. Played Dark Souls 3 for a week. I think I was just doing a period of where I was doing two different things and I was busy afterwards and then I just never picked it back up again.
Did you like what you played or did you think, like a lot of people, you think, this is really hard, I don't want to play this? That's how a lot of people bounce off where they think, this is really hard.
Yeah, so for me, there was no guidance as far as what I was doing or where I was supposed to go or just anything. It was super vague. And, black chicken. And, sorry, there's this chicken that's hangs out around the road, and we call it the legend because it's been just alive for so many years.
You can't kill the chicken?
Can't kill the chickens. There's been other chickens where they all got hit or eaten by something. So
he survived, or they survived, whoever.
We just call him the legend. I guess the her, but yeah. But it's Souls game. So it's everybody knows it's really difficult, hard, and the learning curve is big. Right, yeah. And I just didn't have the time to do all that. Put in the time. Also, I'm on PC only, so has to be available for that. I had issues with the current Elden Ring.
Yeah, I've heard that's the one complaint people on PC with Elden Ring say that it doesn't run that great. So some people are kind of upset about that.
There are controls that I don't have, and what I mean is that if you have an Ashes of War, I think you can cast two different ones. If you have a shield one and then a weapon one, you can cast the shield one and the weapon one on console.
Oh.
Okay, on PC, you can't do that. You can just do one.
That's really odd. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I didn't play it on PC then.
Yeah. And there's certain things that I just can't do quickly, whereas with a controller, you just press up thumb, left trigger, up thumb, where on the keyboard, it's an awkward configuration, and it's not. I think you have to click on it to get your mouse over there. So it's not.
Yeah, it's not a button click. You have to find a menu and open it or whatever.
Yeah, and when you're in the middle of combat, and you're supposed to switch this thing out,
and it's
immediately that.
It's not good at all.
Much more. No, not good. It's much more difficult.
Do you have a controller, that you can just plug into your PC?
I I don't, but I could figure that out. Yeah, you just have the add-on. I have an Xbox controller, and I could probably plug it in. But
Oh, did you get it on the Epic Store? I mean, does it, or is it on Steam? If it's on Steam, it might have controller support.
yeah, it's on Steam. I think it does have controller support. I could do it that way, but I like to pick things up, play for 30 minutes, and drop them.
Oh yeah. So then, yeah, getting all that configured is kind of annoying. So how many hours do you think you've spent with it so far?
I've just gone past 100. I'm like less than 101 hours. 100.
I feel like such a noob. I've only played for probably 35 hours. So yeah, everybody that I've talked to seems to everybody that's played it for there's been a lot of people that have played it more than I have actually. So
and I haven't gotten very far. Like I have where I left off was do we go right? Just go straight. Where I left, I did a lot of farming, and then I like went around and got specific pieces of equipment, and yeah. And so I didn't play like the missions or do any of the quests at first. Like I got past the what's it call it? The gold guy with armor, the tree sentinel.
Oh yeah, he was hard.
So died to him for a while.
Yeah.
And then that was it. And then I went to like that church of Ella, and then I wandered around the map, like literally just wandered around, dying to all kinds of stuff, killing other stuff. I farmed that first little town where they have the guards and such.
Oh yeah, the gatehouse. What it's like the gatehouse ruins, like right there where it's all. Yeah.
Yes.
There's a guy with like a lance or something that's like the hardest guy there when you start out. Where I met him a bunch on the open road. That was rough. And I'm a little bit leveled up now, so I can beat him pretty easy now. But before, I remember starting out going, "This guy does not want to go down."
No, yeah, I figured out you have to beat him on the horse until you're able to like out level him essentially. And, yeah.
Are you like? It seems like everybody I talked to is an astrologer. Or what class did you? Are you also an astrologer, or did you pick something else?
I picked confessor.
Oh, okay.
And so I had a shield and a weapon and a way to sort of heal, but mana doesn't regenerate, so I was like, well, why bother with a heal spell? You can't regenerate.
Yeah. Plus, there's items you can get that'll passively heal you. So.
Yep. And so I did a bunch of that research, like on YouTube and then like forums and other things, and found a build that I like. So I tried strength build, and then all those items I would find on the map and go get them. So like the great sword was a colossal weapon. I just like went to that spot and got it. And I would die easily to anything around there, but I would just. So that's how when I wandered the map, that's sort of what I was doing.
Was that the like berserker blade I've seen photos of, where you put it on your shoulder and it's like the size of a house? It's just like a double-sided. One of those blades was like humongous that I saw online, and I think Todd had like a Game of Thrones blade, where it was a blade made up of other blades. So he was using that, but he said it was too slow, so he hasn't.
Yeah.
He's trying to find something. I made like a mage build. And then I decided to go with like a vampire build, so I'm trying to get some talismans that heal me and stuff like that. So,
yeah, and I found out I got that great big sword and tons of damage if you can connect with it, but you can't unless you do something tricky. So so I ended up moving to just a great sword, which is still a lot of damage, much quicker as far as usability. And then I use a great shield, and I can take tons of damage with that now. And I use the blasphemous blade as so I'm doing like a strength.
Oh, that's cool.
Faith build, and it's all about fire. And,
well, bleeding and fire are important. One thing I have noticed though, it seems like you as a player can be affected by a lot more status effects than you can dish out. There seems to be like scarlet rot and poison. And death, which is a status effect, which I thought was just a thing that happens, but apparently your death meter can fill up and then you'll die. So,
Yep.
Just like in real life, death is a dot, where it's just over time you're just slowly gonna die. Yep. Have you dug into like the lore of the game or anything? Or are you just happy to play the game?
I read. So I've done Rena's quest line, or I'm in Rena's quest line, and I also did a bunch of farming. So I farmed. So before we get to the quest, like I did all the farmings on the like bottom right, like, upper section where they had these vulture dudes.
Oh.
Called, something like Vol something militia. Anyway,
are those like are they shorter, or because my wife found a spot where they're shorter and they have like pikes and they jump, but they give you quite a bit of runes. I think she.
And they do.
Yeah, I think she may have watched your video that you posted on our voice chat or our tarnish ring, because she's like, man, look, I've already leveled up like 4 times, and then she followed your advice and then she went and beat the first boss, like the first named boss or the first story boss, because there was actually a cutscene. She beat him. And she was like I've never heard her scream for joy that much after she beat him. She freaked out. She's like, I did it! Like,
it feels so good, yeah.
But I do the same thing when I beat a boss. Yeah.
You die to that thing a bunch of times. Like, I went back to that tree sentinel and killed that guy, and that felt real good. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I said in the last discussion I felt bad, though, because all I got was his halberd, and I wanted more. You know, like when I killed him, I was like, can I at least get like a piece of armor or a shield or something? And I just got his halberd. That's all they dropped.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh.
You have to go kill all the other tree sentinels and then eventually get the whole set.
Yeah, I was in a new area and I was like, those look like tree sentinels. And I was on my horse and I just went as quickly as possible, and it was 2 of them. And I was like, oh, no. I just ran away from them. I was like, no.
Yeah, those guys are just as hard as the first tree set.
Oh, great.
And and there's just 2 of them. And then there's a dude kind of in that same kind of area. It's like on the side of that main town or whatever. And he has like that dragon shield, and he shoots like lightning, and it's all about lightning damage. He was pretty tough. Like,
great.
He was also jacked. Like, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was riding up near there, and there was this amazing moment where like the music crescendoed, and it sounded amazing, and this dragon came out of nowhere and landed in this field, and I just rode around him because I was like, I don't want to be bothered by that. Like, I mean, he looked very menacing, but I was like, no, I'm exploring, and I just rode around him, like went between his legs and just rode away. I was like, see you later. Like, you look terrible, but I'm just gonna go. I don't have time for this, you know.
Yeah, and that's one of the weird things, like why you can go get all this equipment like early is because you can just ride past everything on your horse. Like there's nothing that can quite catch you on the horse.
Yeah, I mean, you played like Dark Souls 3. You know a little bit that. Hey, Wes, how's it going?
Hey,
what up?
We're already recording, but we're just talking about riding our horse away from danger. Was our thing in the game, where if you're like, I don't want to be bothered by this. Like my wife said when we were talking last week, she really liked that, because if you're beating your head against the wall like in other From Software games, you can just run away and just regroup and go somewhere else, and she really liked that. So,
I'm not ready for that. Oh my God, I'm not ready.
And
there's the drama of like, you still have to duck and weave a little bit.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah. And yeah, the ability they put the sites of grace everywhere, where you can say, well, I got the site of grace. I can mark. You can put your own marks on the map. I'll put something's here, and then I'll take off and do it later. I really like that a lot, especially if they're near a boss, which is nice. Because again, if the boss punches you in the face 20 times, you're like, I got to take a break, but I can come back here at any time. So that's good.
Well, one mild quality of life update that they added on that first major patch was being able to see NPCs on the map.
Oh yeah, like they actually put like a little shroud of like, this is so and so, which is really nice. Have you guys done any side quests? Because I hear people talk about side quests and I don't know what people are talking about, because everybody I talk to is so cryptic. I have no idea what they're asking me to do or where to go. And I hear people in reviews and the podcasts I listen to, and just watching video reviews, people are like, oh, do this side quest and get this. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, because people are just very cryptic and read me poetry and then leave. And sometimes I'll go back to talk to people and they're gone. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's, yeah.
I mean, that's the nature of a FromSoft side quest, though, right?
Yeah.
It's always cryptic. But, yeah, I mean,
well,
not trying to brag, but I think I've done all of them. I'm on New Game Plus 2 now.
Right. And you spent over 100 hours playing, Wes?
I'm approaching 400. It's kind of obscene.
Holy crap, dude! This is like a lifestyle. Like, your wife's gonna ask if you can renew your vows, and you're gonna be like, "Well, I'm already married to Elden Ring, so I can't. I can't."
Yeah. Well, no, I give her an Elden Ring.
You just give her one. Yeah.
Here, this is for you.
So wait. So once you beat the whole thing, then you do it again. Is that how that works?
Yeah. So I think there are 7 potential endings that you can create, that you can witness, that you can be a part of, depending on largely side quests and whose endeavors within the shit going on in the lands between, who you support and back, and then decide to ultimately, become Elden Lord, or however you cap that off.
Right.
One thing, and it's mildly spoilerish, not really, because I won't get detailed, but of the 7, and I think it's 7, it's either 6 or 7 endings, I'm going to just stick with 7. Of the 7 endings, only 3 of them have achievements, like trophies to unlock, which seems odd. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe they didn't want to, drown people too badly in this idea that, you're going to have to beat the game 7 times in order to unlock all of these.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, each of the different endings, with the exception of the most basic one that requires no side quest stuff, no NPCs, just beat the game.
Right.
But all of the other ones, holy shit, they're deep, dude. You have to, it's layer upon layer upon layer, and requires that you're essentially doing something for that side quest, for that storyline, in every single biome, all the way until the very end. So, yeah, it's kind of...
It's pretty wild.
I don't know. It's like, okay, how can you not have an achievement tied to that? It's so unique. It's so massive,
I mean, speaking from experience, the other From Software games I played, Demon Souls had 2 endings. I think Dark Souls had 3 endings. I think the other Souls games had 3 endings. Bloodborne only has 3 endings. Sekiro has 4 endings. So they do, and there's an achievement for it, hence you get in the platinum if you're playing on PlayStation. But it is weird that they don't, I mean, maybe it's one of those things where, because to go through that, I'm not really an achievement hunter, but you'd want the achievement to be no, I did the thing. I went through the steps. And because I did the hardest ending in Sekiro, you got to find a bunch of hidden stuff. I watched a walkthrough, I did it step by step, I beat the boss, and I got the massive cinematic at the end, and I got the achievement, the gold trophy for the return ending or whatever. So you could tell people, no, I did the hard one first. For me, I do want a platinum. It'll take a while, but it's I want to do the hardest one and then go down to the easiest one, But, So what is your, since Wes, you haven't really played any From Software games before, I know you obviously like this because you're on New Game Plus 2 now, or maybe 3. Are you going to go back to other From Software games and give them a shot? Has this given you, I kind of get the systems now, although it's not open world, maybe I could give Dark Souls a shot or whatever,
Yeah. Totally fair question. Probably not, no. And the reason why is because, look, I love nostalgia and I love older games and whatnot, but the reason, so I played Dark Souls 3 a tiny bit and couldn't get into it.
That was just like Jesse. That's what Jesse said too. He said he played it for about a week and
I
dropped
literally
it.
said the same thing.
Yeah, and I played Bloodborne for a little bit, and I couldn't get into it. And there's so many obvious similarities. We're talking about the same developers and whatnot, but the handling and stuff, well, I mean, this is a topic that I feel like, as far as Elden Ring is concerned, I could probably talk hours about the handling, where in some rights it's clunky, and in some ways it's so hypersensitive that it requires that you pay the fuck attention to what you do, right? Which a quick digression, I love this idea that, hey, I need to heal, I'm in combat. But guess what? What I need to do is drink a potion. And the act of drinking a potion takes a little bit of time. And this guy is not going to just sit there and wait for me to be like, hold on.
Yeah.
Right? No, he's going to be like, dude, I'm going to murder you while you're trying to do that. And they do.
Yeah.
And they do. They'll just try to be like, oh, you're drinking a potion. You're fucking dead. How about that? But the previous iterations of the games that I've played from Software just felt too clunky, and going back, because I have this newfound respect for Elden Ring, and really, look, I appreciate it now. I do see it in a much, much larger light. I get it. Like, this is so rad, but I don't think that those ones were doing it in this same way. And I think that the way that they opened it up now made it accessible to somebody like myself. I will consider myself a hardcore gamer. This is not the first game I've dumped this many hours into. Like it's the 30th or 40th. Like I fucking
I've seen your profile, Wes. I know I've seen the hours you put in. What about you, Jesse? Would you now that you played Elden Ring? I mean, you said stuff's got to be on PC for you to play it, but I mean, some of the From Software stuff has hit PC because with Bandai Namco, it's all multi-plat now. So I think the Souls ones are on PC. I think Sekiro is. You could play some of their art. Would you go back? Would you consider going back and playing?
I think From Software. So a lot of companies don't learn from the previous games. Like EA is a great example where the Battlefield games are almost getting worse as time goes on.
Yeah.
And Battlefield 4, which was like back in 2014, was their best one, and since then they've just gotten worse and worse. And worse. And in one way or another, and they haven't learned. But From Software seems to be, each iteration of their games seems to get better. And every other game that they make, they implement little elements from the best parts of that one into the new one, and it's just this sort of achievement essentially with Elden Ring, where all those other games are essentially lessons. And I don't think I'm going to go back either. I'm just going to play their golden accomplishment that hopefully they expand on.
Right.
They maybe have some expansions for us.
Yeah, I don't want to be. I've heard some people in podcasts say like, "What do you think is next?" And I don't think that's fair. This took years to make, and it was. It's like that's like we all do that when we watch a show where it took like 4 years of planning. We watch it in a week and say, "Wow, I can't wait for season 2." I wonder what it's like. Well, give them a day or two before you like start piping off what they're gonna. I'll say this much. When I was doing this thing, I did a whole thing on From Software's games, and I went back and played, and I'd beaten some before. Well, I haven't got every ending. I haven't platinum, but I spent like 73 hours playing Demon Souls. I got one of the endings. I've spent like 10 hours playing Dark Souls, like a few hours playing Dark Souls 2. I have 96 hours into Bloodborne. I played Dark Souls 3 for maybe 2 or 3 hours. I played Sekiro for like 80 some odd hours and got the hardest ending. And it was hard to go back, especially to Dark Souls, because they just added a jump button in Elden Ring, and there was so many times in the Souls games where I'm like, it's right there. If I could just jump, if I could just jump, I could get the glowing item, but I can't even jump. And yeah, there's stuff like that. Like,
yeah. Jesse, you're spot on with that about learning lessons and like improving their product. I mean, this company has coined an entire genre, Souls-like, right? Like it's because of them that this genre exists, and there are a ton of games like them, and I've played them. Neo 1, Neo 2, loved both. I had a lot of fun playing Neo. That was the one that was like medieval Japanese style with a lot of fantasy and lore involved. It's not by them, but it is a Souls-like. It's in the vein of that.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean they've carved out their own thing, dude. This is From Software defined a new genre of gaming. That is huge. But the antiquated shit in some of their old games, like, I don't have any desire to go through and do that. I also don't care if someone's such a purist to be like, oh, you never beat this naked with only a club. Like, I don't fucking care, dude. I just want to have fun,
Yeah.
So far, this product that I bought for $60, I have gotten fucking miles of fun out of. It is absurd. I think the biggest thing has been the multiplayer, dude. Like, I remember my buddy TJ, who is a huge From Software geek, and he insisted that I get Bloodborne, and it was like a year or two after it had come out, and he wanted me to get it. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll get it, right? I got it on a discount or something. It was like $20, and we were trying to co-op, and that was a 20-minute thing, just trying to, like, have him summon me. And, like, both of us are sitting here Googling, like, how to make it work and stuff. And that was kind of the most frustrating aspect of it, where I'm like, fucking, you know what? Fuck this, dude. Like,
even in Elden Ring, that's my one complaint, is it still isn't as intuitive. It's easier, but it's not, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be as easy. Like, you have to have an item, you have to summon people. You can put a password down so people can't, and you can find a group. But that's one minor complaint where it's like, can I just join? Like, I have a friend. I just want to join his game. Like,
I mean, it's not as easy as some games, but with, I guess, the number of hours that I've played multiplayer with some of my friends, like, when we're going to play together, it's like that. Hey, where are you? I'm here. Here's my password. Bam, they're in, and we're fucking going.
Right. Yeah.
It's nice.
That's one thing too. It really bugged me that there was no cross-platform, because I did want to get it on PlayStation, but everybody else, well, not you guys. I think I just got it on Xbox, and then other people, I don't know. It was just one of the, you got to make a choice with cross-platform. You don't have to. You just say, yeah, I'll meet up with you, whatever. That was the one thing that you're like, oh, really? But yeah, so I'm trying to think what else.
Dude, so happy that I got a PS5.
Oh yeah, is that in the mail? Is it on your way? Is it on the way to you?
Yeah, I got it Monday, brother.
Oh, you got it already? Nice.
I clicked buy on Thursday, and I had it Monday.
Nice.
And
got it all set up and everything?
Oh, dude, I've been smashing it all week. It's incredible.
Load times are great. You don't have to wait for a year and a half on your PS4 and hear it wind up like a C-130 so it could play Elden Ring. I remember playing God of War in 2018 with my PS4, and I thought my PlayStation was going to explode. I was like, maybe I should... Oh, it's not on PC. I can't play it on PC, but at the time... Now it is. I can play it on PC, but...
Mine was always a Harrier jet, like literally trying to just do the fucking vertical takeoff.
Yeah.
Just like, oh my god, dude. And the majority of all of the time I played was on PS4, and now I'm playing it on PS5, and it's just loading like.
Did your save transferred over and everything right? There wasn't a problem with that. Yeah, okay.
No, not a problem at all.
That would be heartbreaking if you'd spent like 300 hours and then switch it over and like, oh, you got to start over. You're like, wow, I was already on New Game Plus 2. I guess it doesn't matter. I guess I could just start over.
I'm not gonna lie. That something like that is enough for me to be like, well, the game was fun. Bye.
I got 300 hours and I'm good.
Yeah, I'll go play something else now. I'm done.
So what do you? I mean, what's one thing, like, Jesse? What's one thing you wish they would maybe do better? Like Wes was talking about, like there's still some things where you know that he said are a little bit wonky or don't really add up. Like, is there something? I mean, obviously you played tons of games before and stuff. Like, what's one thing you think? They could really tighten this up.
To make better, I kind of wish your like you could customize your attacks a little bit more, because once you get a weapon, you have a certain attack, right? And it's just, that's the speed, like and I wish, like, if you like two-handed a colossal weapon or something, that it was faster, or there was some trade-offs and some skills in that tree, like a skill tree. That's kind of what I want. I wish there's sort of a skill tree a little bit.
Yeah. What about you, Wes?
Well, it's an interesting thing. What's really interesting is within a particular subset of a weapon type, colossal weapons, they don't all have the same move sets. Now, I think that what is tricky is that all of that is invisible to the player without trying, right? So, like at the stage I'm at, there are maybe 3 or 4 weapons in the entire game that I don't have in my repertoire, but I think I have almost fucking everything, and duplicates of almost everything. So, nice. Like, I have tried most things out because I want to see the movesets. I mean, there are, for everything, of course, you've got one hand, two hand. Sometimes they change. There are 2 great swords in particular where when you two-hand them, you have an entirely different moveset than any other great sword. And that is, that's the Inseparable Great Sword and the Banished Knight Great Sword. And those become, like, really cool fucking arcing, like, samurai-style moves that no other great sword has. And that's only when you two-hand them. But then you have things like, from a crouch, a R1, or from a crouch, an R2, you get different attacks. When you backstep and do an R1, you get a different attack. When you're running and you R1, or running and you R2, you get a different attack. Or then if you power stance, you're wielding 2 weapons from the same weapon class, colossal, greatsword, short, whatever it is, then you have an L1 that's unique to those things, where you simultaneously use those. So there's so much diversity, and it really, I mean, that kind of complexity is hard to remember in the heat of shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
When you're getting pummeled, like, your main response is just, like, dodge, hit one button, you know?
Yeah.
But the reality is that, like, you could backstep and do a really awesome combo. And then there's some weapons even have, like, unique charged R2 or L2 combo things, you know?
Yeah.
It's nuts.
And it's not transparent. Like, there's no way to know until you get the weapon and you just try it.
Yeah.
Like, that was my frustration, because I thought I wanted this great sword, but I don't.
Because once you got it, you're like, this sucks.
This colossal weapon, but I didn't, actually. Once I used it, I was like, I don't like this one. I like the Lord's great sword better.
But okay. I don't think they can change that, though. If you think about it, like, if suddenly they added that level of transparency to weapon move sets, but that level of transparency didn't exist anywhere else, that wouldn't really make sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, if it's just like, oh, well, now you have a weapon and you can, like a fighting game where you can just hit start and go look at every single moveset and see what they're called and see what they do. But that kind of detail doesn't live anywhere else in the game. You can't have that. You can't have some of it and none of it.
Right. It would Yeah, would like break their own rules of how they design the game. Like they talk about that in movies all the time. If you make a rule, it's got to be consistent. And games are the same way. Like if you add a mechanic, it's got to say consistent. It's all got to work together, kind of in a way. So
exactly. Yeah.
That makes sense.
They've done the letter thing for a long time with weapons. If something's like a D, like an E to a D to a C, like that's been the staple in most of the Souls games. And one thing I wanted to say about the mechanics. I know Bloodborne gets a lot of flack because it's obtuse, but they did have this cool thing in Bloodborne where if you got hit, your red health bar would drop and you'd see like a yellow chunk left over. And if you attack someone and were fast, you could get some of your health back. Not all of it, but the more you hit them, you were like siphoning their life. So it kind of led to this fast, like, trying to dodge, get hit, get up there, hit them a bunch of times, and then get back to at least get some of your life so you're using fewer health vials or whatever. And I know there's some items in Elden Ring you can get to heal and things, which I think kind of take that place, but there is a quicker pace, I think, to Bloodborne. This does feel a little bit more slowed down than some of their other games, which is good and bad. I guess it also depends on the speed of your build. If you made like a dex build or a strength build, and you could be really fast. Like I'm just literally using the claws right now, making people bleed, which is really fun. To see like they don't bleed out, but you just see a big chunk of their life go away because it like builds up, and then you'll hit them one more time, and a big chunk of their life will go away because they've been bled out or something. So.
I think one of the talismans adds that, but I could be completely wrong. I know what you're talking about. I mean, it's the ability to reclaim some lost health with aggression.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The more aggressive you are, you can get a chunk of that back. And that's not a new mechanic necessarily. I think a lot of games haven't employed that before. And if they don't have a talisman that does that, I feel like they do. But if they don't, that would be a perfect talisman for someone who wanted to play in that.
I think they do. I think the two that I'm going for right now, I have the one that you passively heal, and then there's like a ruin you equip, and then another talisman. One gives you life on attacking, and then one gives you life on killing. So it's like a vampire / Wolverine, whatever. So I'm literally making Wolverine where I have the claws, armor. If I get the two talismans, then you can run in. And I've noticed it's not, right now, I'm just passively healing. It's not something that can like make or break, but if you're in the overworld, if you're patient or before a boss fight, you can heal up without using a healing pot and then go into fight. Yeah. So it's like there's, like my wife came in, she's like, why is your character sitting? And I'm like, because I'm healing. And I would just sit in front of a boss door and wait for my life to go up and then be like, all right, at least I don't have to use a potion when I go in, Like I've saved one potion at least, and that might be the difference between me biffing and dying in this dumb academy when I was stuck in the academy trying to kill that dumb red wolf that has the fire sword in his mouth. I don't know.
Yeah, fuck that red wolf. He's a pussy, dude.
I did figure out how to beat him later.
I have a similar build.
Oh, yeah?
My build is every time I kill somebody, I get life and FP back.
Ooh.
And then I have a special skill that I get 20%, so it's a percentile of my life back when I use, which uses FP. And that's my build. Then I have a great shield that does defense stuff in it. And I just rock my way to the boss.
You just, like, put your head down and barrel towards him?
Yeah, basically. I just slaughter I don't bother getting out of the way or not avoiding fights. I literally just kill my way there, kill the boss, and then kill my way to the next boss, and then kill that guy too without saving or resetting my potions, usually at this point. That's the build I had just made.
Oh,
myself.
Nice.
I can say, and this is a mechanic that I should probably explore, but I have never used shields. I do not block. I do not parry. I know it's a huge part of the game, but
yeah.
I've gotten this. I don't use any of those things. I don't block or parry. Nothing.
Well, that's because you're a real gamer, Wes. TM. You're the gamer, TM. Like
no. I think I'm playing only half the game. Really, it's like I've probably made it much harder on myself in some ways.
Have you used the Spirit Ashes? Have both of you guys, you know, where you summon like the wolves or the whatever?
Oh
like,
yeah.
1,000%.
That really makes me mad online when you read people like, "Oh, you don't play the game right." It's like they put them in the game. Like, if they didn't want you to use it, I'm not hacking the game. It's a tool that they gave me to use.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look.
I use all the advantages.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way.
The armor, shields,
everyone.
Whatever.
Everyone can fuck off. You know.
Yeah.
This is a part of the game. You know. Look. I sat there and I hit the farming spot. And that's how I'm at level fucking 330, I think. Like,
yeah.
Fucking
206 for me.
Yeah,
that's huge.
I did one of the boss fights, and there's a golden. You know, like you'll see people leave notes. And I got near this magma lizard that I was fighting. Before you get to like this plateau, you have to fight him and go through this cave. And there's a golden sign where you summon an NPC to help. And I was like, oh, let's give this a shot. And I did it, and it was the most heavily armored badass I ever saw. I was like, well, we're both melee. We'll see how this goes, because this guy just spits magma out and kills you, you know. And we whooped his ass. Like, I went in and I was like, this is great. And then he, like, saluted me and faded away, and I was like, that was actually pretty epic. So, yeah, it was great.
The bull goat armor, his armor, has the highest poise in the entire game.
Oh, so you won't ever drop to a knee or whatever. You won't. Yeah, it won't break your posture.
Well, not entirely, but there is a significantly long side quest to acquire that armor.
Oh yeah, I also did the thing
murdering him. It takes a long time to get there.
But he's my friend.
I used the Lionel set.
Oh, is that the wolf one? Like the wolf armor?
No, it's a big fat man with a crazy weird brim hat.
Oh, it's kind of like the Onion Knight in Dark Souls. There was like the famous Onion Knight where his armor looked like onions, and then I saw online the armor that you have, and I'm like, oh, they're just calling back to like that design because it's so iconic. They're like, where can we put that in the game? Because that was pretty cool.
I like the fire prelate armor as well because it just like gives you fat rolls and shit. It looks super funny, dude.
Well, I told everybody in my last conversation, like, I usually pick pretty fast characters, and so I played one of the other Dark Souls, like the remastered Dark Souls, and I picked someone with heavy armor, and I don't think I liked the fat roll that much, because I was, like, rolling into their blade. I'm like, let me just... And they were, like, stabbing me. I was like, I don't think I like this at all.
Good thing.
Yeah, well, I wasn't used to it. Yeah.
See, I fuck around and, like, there's a couple meta builds, you know. But there are a few just like, okay, you have to have this talisman, this talisman, this talisman, and this talisman. And when you do, you are fucking meta. You are just god tier. So I'll sit there with like 100 poise, medium armor build, significant defenses, all that shit, and still be able to drop a like L2 special with blasphemous blade that does almost $3,000 a hit, you know.
Nice.
Just
Is that the one that calls lightning down or whatever?
No, it's like a fire.
It's fire. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's all fire.
It's got all the hands on the blade and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
One of the cool things about so I use a great shield, and the reason why is when I go into a boss, I don't know the moveset yet. And I can survive enough of their hits with the Great Shield usually to like learn it as I'm in there, and I'll beat them sometimes the first time.
Nice.
Like I'll see a bot was that Star Scourge Radahan? I beat him the first time. And I went to all these.
Was it after the patch?
Yeah, it was after the patch.
Oh, but didn't they repatch him? Did they repatch him to make him harder?
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, they did, but he's still not that bad. And I'm only that's me talking shit for no fucking reason. Like,
it's not my fault.
It's not my fault they patched the game.
It's not at all your fault. In fact, I mean, so I beat him before they patched him to make him easy, but I found out how to cheese him, kind of.
Did you? Are we talking about the cheese where you can make him meteorite into the water?
No, because that wasn't discovered until after he was patched.
I saw that video and I showed my wife, and we've seen that boss fight online. She goes, "What is this guy gonna do?" And I go, "Just watch." And when he meteorited in, he meteorites into the ocean and dies. And she goes, "Oh my god, that's amazing!" And I was like, yeah, whoever figured that out, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so before the initial patch, like the kind of meta approach to him was Scarlet Rot, and it was with that dragon breath, that rot breath.
Oh, yeah.
Dragon incantation. So that's how I was able to beat him, because it did do significant damage, but it was still so fucking hard. And it was like, if you missed a single roll in the whole fight, you're dead. It's game over.
Unless you have a shield.
Oh, man. See, yeah, I don't know what
that's like. Wes is like, what are these shields you speak of? I don't know what this is.
I'm sitting here casting incantations. I have no idea what a shield is.
Yeah, me, it's weird. Like, I tried different stuff like shield and sword, but I was using my claws so much that when I equipped a shield, I didn't use it. I was like, right, I have one of those. I should start using that in my left hand. I did. There was a boss that I cheesed unintentionally where I went into the Rhea Academy, and there's like a red mini boss. He's like in armor, and he just stares at you. Like, you go in this courtyard and he just stares at you. And so I fought him a bunch and he killed me. And then what happened was I was like, I'm just going to run past him. And for the first time, and I didn't realize the lift wasn't down. And so then I went around the corner and you got to pull the lever. And I was like, oh no. And I turned around. He hit me and I fell down the pit where the lift was. But then I wasn't dead fully, like the you died hadn't come up. And he jumped after me. And then he died. And then it just showed his shield. You've acquired a shield. And I was like, well, that wasn't intentional, but I'll take the win, man. Like, I'll come back, but you won't. And then I spawned back. Yeah, then I spawned back and got a shield, and I go, what's that movie or whatever when like they're beat up and they're like, I consider this a win or whatever. Like, I don't know why. That's how I thought about it when I spawned back in. I was like, well, I'll take it. Like I don't really care.
I never had one of those experiences on my first fight, but like going back through, I think I had one or two of them, and I had seen memes on Reddit and shit where like, or GIFs where people are like, they literally die, but then the enemy dies, they get the reward, and it's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
That's a fucking win still, man. That's still a win, bro.
I tried to bait that guy out because when you go into that courtyard, you go up this staircase and this boulder just gets teleported out of the air to roll down the stairs and kill you. And I tried to bait him down the stairs because I knew where the safe area was, and he literally just stood at the top of the stairs and paced. I was like, oh, he knows what I'm trying to do. I gotta go in there. Damn it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I was fighting some dungeon boss. I don't even remember. It's like one of those statues looking.
Oh, the cat ones or whatever. Yeah.
And I had Olog out, and I died, and he got just his last swing in and killed him. I was like, yes. I have to get some gas in.
No, that's fine.
It counts, baby. It counts.
Have you? So you?
Is he wearing a fucking sling?
I think he's got a. I think that's I don't know what that is. It was a seatbelt. I don't know what it is now, but. Did you? So have you found all the sacred ashes and all that stuff? The summons.
Yeah, I think there is one single legendary sacred ash that I still need to be able to get that achievement.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going platinum on this one. So.
Well, you got to do something with your 400 hours, man. Like whatever, you got to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think I only need 2 or 3 more achievements. I mean, I'm fucking close, dude. I started getting sucked into another game this week, though, which, well, that's a different topic for a different time. It's called Returnal. It's unique to PS5 and.
I might have you on because I heard it has to deal with grief and everything, and obviously that's what this podcast. Like the one reason I'm talking about From Software games is like their games always have to do with death and dying and decay, and it's always a topic in every one of their games that someone or something is dying, and you either have to keep the status quo or go against the grain or whatever, So I've done everything on all their games, and Elden Ring's obviously the last one, but I do want to play Returnal. Is it still on sale, or did the sale end? Because it was on sale, I thought, for a little bit.
I don't even. I didn't even. I mean, I just fucking. I have been wanting it since the second it came out.
I know you and I talked about when
PS5.
when both of us didn't have PS5s, we're like, man, we really want to play that game, but we don't have a PS5, so we can't play it.
So here's what happened, Joe, is I got the PS5 Monday. I bought it Returnal Monday once I plugged it in, and I have been smashing it since.
Nice.
And so I got it Monday night. I've put 16 hours into Returnal,
nice.
And I just beat the first boss. It is harder than Elden Ring, significantly.
Really? Wow.
Significantly. But it is so...
Well, I heard they patched co-op into it, so you can go with a co-op buddy and actually Returnal together, I guess.
Yeah. Man, get it. I would love to do that.
Well, we can now that we both have PS5s. Now that we've
yeah, it's so good, dude. It is so fucking good. I am just coming off of the heels of Elden Ring. Okay, that the reason why I've put as many hours into Elden Ring as I have is because the experience is unique and it is wonderful.
Yeah.
It has been so long since there has been a game this good. God, I've just been how long has it been since we've had a game this good? This is Witcher 3 good. Yeah, this is Witcher 3 good, bro. Skyrim good.
If you guys would do me a public service and just pour one out for Horizon, because this happened to Horizon again. The first one came out and Breath of the Wild came out, and nobody talked about Horizon. Well, they talked about it very little. And now Jesse really did just pour one out. And then now the second one came out and Elden Ring came out like a week later. And everybody's like, was there a Horizon game that came out like 3 weeks ago? I don't really remember. If I was Guerrilla, they're probably just like, God damn it. Like, it happened twice.
Yeah, but if I was Guerrilla, they should be, I bet you anything, those guys are playing Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Also, huge shout out and accolades for From Software. From a couple of the factoids that I've seen, with Elden Ring, they sold more than they have ever sold combined. Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, all of them combined have not even scratched the surface of what Elden Ring just did. They just erupted, dude.
It was more sales than all their games times 4.
Yeah, I heard it was I heard a number. It was about 12 million or something like that. Like it just a smash, something like that. It's like
that's so great.
They could just go back to Sony and be like, hey, we want to do a 2D platformer, and Sony be like, all right. Or it's not even Sony. Like they're their own company. They work with Bandai Namco and all that. They could go to whoever and say, hey, we have a 2D platformer. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be like, great, put it on our platform, or whatever. Like we don't care. Like
it's so good. I mean, this is the kind of success story that we want, man. We want these folks who have been the proof is in the pudding. They've been making incredible products, and they found a way, like Jesse said, they found a way to learn from previous iterations to make something that was this accessible, this widely received, right? They were always so niche, and I think that every game that they've made since their very first one, Miyazaki's very first, has become less niche, but it's not because they're diminishing their own identity. It's just because they're trying to make it more accessible in the same vein of what they're already doing. But they've done it, man. I mean, this proves it. They've done it.
Well, I think
they are.
Yeah, the thing that helped them, I think, with this is the fact that they've done it for the past couple of games, but that it is multi-platform. It used to be locked on Sony mostly, and then when it went to, they did Sekiro was Activision, and the past 3, I think, have been Dark Souls 3, this one, and I think one other one have been Bandai Namco, so that's all multi-plat, so just more people are playing. Well, even Dark Souls was multi-plat, so at least as they moved in that direction, it's just a bigger audience to experience the game, which has helped them out, so.
Yeah. Well,
and also,
not just the platforms. This is just a better game.
Yeah, it's friendly to sort of casual players like myself, where I spend maybe 4 to 6 hours a week, so it's maybe 30 minutes. So I can pick it up and I can actually do something, and it's not so difficult that I just can't ever progress, but it's not so easy that it's boring. It's kind of that, and I have a choice the summons and the Ashes of War, and the spirits. They make it easier if I'm having a difficult time, where I can circle back and gear up, which I've done, and then go back.
Yeah, I mean, it makes farming possible. So even if you don't kill a boss, you can still go to an area, get a bunch of runes, level up, and then log out. So at least or like you said, you could go online if you don't know where to go and be like, I want to get this one sword. I'm just gonna go over there, get the sword, and log out. I just gotta run through here. So to finish up, I'll ask Jesse and you, Wes. What's one? I mean, we kind of already touched on it before. What's one thing that you absolutely love about the game, and one thing you wish they would patch in the game? I'll go ahead and start with you, Jesse.
All right. So, loved is kind of there's a lot of different things. It's kind of just what I mentioned, that they have this really good balance, and the gameplay functionality is super awesome, and it's so good looking. It just looks amazing. You're in there, feel the wind.
Yeah, the incredibly depressing, melancholic wind. Yes, that's you could feel. Yeah, you're like, even the wind doesn't want to blow. What's going on with this place? Man.
The enemies, they're scary. It's adrenaline when I'm fighting that stuff. I'm like, oh my god, it's so enthralling.
I mean, that's one thing I think is. I mean, as an aside, one thing I don't think we talked about is everywhere I go, their enemy design is amazing, because everywhere you go, you're like, what the fuck is this? Jesus, So what about what's one thing you wish they would patch out of the game or fix?
Out to the game? I don't think they patch anything out. I struggle with the gear and weapons and stuff. What is my weapon? What is this weapon gonna do? And that sort of stuff. I kind of wish they had maybe a skills tree where I could sort of I could edge. I kind of want to be less magic-y and more melee-y, so I have faster weapon skills and less something like that.
I saw someone online suggest at the round table hold that you have a practice room where you could equip everything and hit a dummy.
You do.
Oh, there is one?
There's no dummy, but there is one, yeah.
Oh, down below.
Jump off the balcony and you can test any moves you want.
Oh, in the beginning where the guys take the leap of faith or whatever, you could just go down there? In the tutorial area? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You can run through all your movesets.
In Sekiro, there was this guy named Hunbei the Undying, and he was cursed. And he was a tutorial, but you could also try out new, if you had life or you'd get a new item, he'd always be at this shrine near your resting area. So you could go around the corner and be I want to practice. He's like, okay. And then you'd kill him, you'd watch him die, and then he'd get back up and be like, it was good. He'd bleed out and then stand back up and be like, thank you. And you're like, I got to try out the new parry or whatever I got, So, yeah.
I do wish that they wouldn't let you kill the NPCs unless you had, because I was running to that guy who drops the executioner sword.
Oh.
It's the green little area of a bunch of poison stuff that's before the Volcano Manor, and I killed the NPC there because I just thought it was another one of those undead on the ground, and I just killed him in one hit accidentally. I was like, oh shit, that was a person. That was a quest giver. I guess I'm not talking to that guy, and that's it. He's dead forever. There's no going back.
Can't you go to the Turtle Pope and atone? I mean, it probably doesn't bring anybody back from the dead, but I know you get attacked by NPCs. Isn't there some way you can atone for what you've done or whatever?
Yeah, atonement doesn't equal resurrection.
Oh, it just makes people stop attacking you if you're aggressive. So you boned yourself, Jesse. Looks like you got to go do New Game Plus to get that blade or something, I guess. Wes, what about you? What's one thing you wish that you really like about the game, and then one thing you wish they would just patch or change or...
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat with what I like, which is so much. Oh, God, so much. The level design, I feel like they've made it so accessible now that this wrapping around these intricate, layered levels with shortcuts makes so much more sense than they've ever made in a From Software game before. And the biomes are diverse, and the open world element really helps accessibility. It helps allow people who are more casual gamers to get involved and get in there. And it's the proof is in the pudding. The testament is their sales. They've done it. They broke into a new place with their stuff. Something that I wish would be just better is the platforming.
You mean you don't like your bunny hop? A little bunny hop you do where you're like, what is this?
I could talk about this for an hour straight. No, the controls are both hypersensitive and clunky at the exact same time. I get it, because if you're trying to change direction, what actually happens is you're probably taking a step forward to change direction. You're not on a fixed pivot where you can just, in a 360 degree, just turn, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not realistic, but that's what every video game, except for this one, has taught me.
Yeah, I've heard the term over animated a lot. Like, the characters always have to take like a stutter step because they're mocapped and they didn't program them just stopping. And in this, they probably did mocap, but like you said, it is quicker to turn around and move a little bit.
But this is where, in my own head, I argue that they're doing it better.
Yeah, no, that's what people have said,
They're doing it more realistically. But every single game we have ever played has taught me that I can pivot 360 degrees without having to move a single inch. Yeah. This game is like, you're fucking dead. You just walked off a cliff. And you're like, no, I just tried to look behind me. Yeah. What are you talking about? So
there's a lot of like, hey, what's over oh, that's a cliff. There's been a couple of those where I've been like riding with Torrent, especially. I will say I do like the fact that the horse has a double jump. To me, that's very clutch. When I think if I'm playing a video game now, especially in a fantasy setting, and the horse doesn't have a double jump, I'm just gonna quit the game because it's so amazing to be able to like, oh, I'm just gonna bunny hop over this cliff and go.
You do realize that the double jump does not reset fall distance.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way when I was like, I'll just double jump at the bottom, and that didn't work. Torrent was like, what are you doing? As I fell on the ground.
Which also makes sense. These are the kinds of things where they like are so contrary to every single gaming trope we have ever known, right? In every other game, if you can double jump, that resets gravity, resets the fall, right? Yeah. In this one, they're like, oh, sure, you can double jump after falling 200 feet, but you still fell 200 feet, you're still falling the same speed.
Yeah.
You're gonna fucking die.
Yeah, you can't juke gravity. Like, you can't... I do like that they have those weird tornadoes that you can jump in and up and down. But it's they bring those up, and I was like, that's a cool mechanic. But the place in the world I am, I've seen less and less of them. So you're like, there isn't many over where I am. So I guess I'm going the long way down this mountain or whatever. Like I can't just jump off the side. So
you will see less and less of them. It is nice though that you can jump down into them. So you could jump from 5,000 feet.
Oh yeah.
So long as you land in a spirit spring.
Yeah. It is an amazing feeling to be like, I made it and I didn't die, But then you'll see something crazy, some eldritch horror on the beach and go, but I still gotta get out of here. I'm not safe at all.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing, man, is just the platforming side of it. Like, it's just...
I struggled with that. Yeah, I just figured I have to figure out this game mechanics, like to on the horse or to off the horse. That is the question. Yeah. The horse is really not. And sometimes if you want to turn around, you have to like jump and then turn around, like the double jump.
Yeah. Or you have to go forward 2 feet.
Yeah.
Or you can't do the double jump if you hadn't jumped to begin with. That got me.
I always click the left. I always click the left trigger in accidentally, and I'll just springboard off my horse, and I'm like, I didn't want to do that. And then you'll leap into battle. You know, you're like, I really wanted to ride past these guys, but I guess I'm fighting them now. So, well, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for joining me. I haven't even really talked about what I think about the game, which I think I'm going to do another episode probably next week. But yeah, you guys didn't make the original call, so I definitely want to talk to you because you guys, I think, have played more than the other people in the group. The last group was mostly people that hadn't played From Software games. And it sounded like all of them, like my wife and her sister, they do want to stick with it. Another friend of ours that's in Georgia, Joseph, he is like 70 plus hours in. And I said, are you going to stick with this or try another game? And he said, I'm already 70 some odd hours in. I'm going to see it all the way through. So, and he's never played a From Software game. So I was like, well, right on, man. I guess we'll see you in the group chat. So, well, thanks, gentlemen, and I'll probably talk to you again soon, when the DLC comes out or something.
Yep.
Dope. Jesse,
sounds like a plan.
I'll see you tomorrow, brother.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
Later, y'all.
Bye.
Later.
So there you go. That was me talking to Jesse and Wes about Elden Ring. Again, I just wanted to get their perspective because, they played it a lot. But before we go, I want to remind you guys that this podcast will hit my website, www.gamingwithgrief.com, Monday morning at 7 a.m. Please go there, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the show. Or you can subscribe to the show on either Apple iTunes, the Google Play Store, or Spotify. Please go there, give me the stars, the reviews, the likes, whatever you can. That helps out. You can also go to gwgpodfellows@gmail.com. Drop me an email there. Let me know what you think of the show. If there's a game you want me to review or, an opinion you want to share, you can do it there. And you can find me on Twitter @JustLittleJoe. So that's it for this week, guys. And I'm out. I'm not going to do the intro one more time or the outro or whatever, the transition. So you guys have a good week, and I will talk to you guys again next week.